The police siren was deafening for the people of Amalgamation Row, but it was a familiar sound for them. Sometimes it felt like the siren was part of daily routine. A black European car pulled over. Some of the onlookers looked in awe at it. On the backside, they could see there were squiggly lines above the A's. Felix the cat was used to such looks. Everybody preferred to buy American-made, so the sight of a European car always made them curious. Why wouldn't they be curious? Felix thought. This was his reward for being a good soldier during the 11th European War. His friendship with his partner, Mickey Mouse, was another such reward. "Be careful, Felix," Mickey said, his tone low and a little alarmed. Felix nodded and locked the car. They started walking to the house encircled by police cars. Their trench coats did a good job in hiding their pistols and their tensed bodies. "It no longer feels like home anymore, eh, Mickey?" Felix asked with a sarcastic tone. Mickey didn't respond. He just threw him an annoyed look, and they continued walking until they entered the house. The house was a mess. Police officers were either standing by or taking photographs on their Polariads. The only being that cared enough about their arrival was the sergeant, Robert the Pig, another veteran of the war, and one of the few police officers to hold the two detectives in something more than just contempt. Felix wanted to think that there was respect between them, but only as veterans. As work colleague, there was no such thing to be found. "What's up, Sarge?" Mickey asked in a relaxed and jovial tone. "Dead rats," answered Robert the Pig, and then he pointed at the living room to his right. The two detectives walked further by a few steps, and they saw a gruesome sight, a gunned-down rat man and, all around him, dead babies. Felix looked on with a stone-cold expression, like there was nothing in front of him. Mickey smiled a little. There were some things in war that could not be erased with a steamboat. "Gang violence. A drive-by, surely," Felix said, looking at the walls. One wall did indeed have bullet holes in them. "Autopsy will confirm with the ballistic markings. Nothing that impressive today." Felix sounded bored. Frankly, every time they were sent to Amalgamation Row, it was the same old story. The motives were different. "That's 12 babies, Felix. Unless he lined them up for military drills, I don't see how all 12 of them could be dead," Mickey said, startling Felix. But this was exactly what he needed to feel reinvigorated. "Did I ever tell you you're a genius, Mickey?" Felix said with a grin. "Let's get more information from Robert." Robert the Pig walked to the two detectives with an annoyed look on his face. "Was there anybody else in the house, Sergeant?" Felix asked, as unmoving as he was before. "No one. Just these poor saps," Robert answered, his annoyed look not leaving his face. "What's the matter, Sarge?" asked Mickey, clearly seeing that something was pressing Robert. "Everything. No one can find the kids, baby mama, and no one saw anything. I've had it up to here with these amalgamation bastards, never talking." Robert spoke, ending his rant with a few curses. Mickey and Felix stood in silence, each thinking of a way to find more information. You can't put so many holes through walls quietly. "And we don't even have any ID to check anything. We just know his name is Rory Rat." Robert cursed a few more times. "Rory Rat," Mickey said to himself. "You know him?" Felix asked, hoping that Mickey could give them an answer. "When we caught that squeaker from the green skeeteries, he mentioned a certain Rory Rat knowing at least a member of their gang. But he wasn't in the gang." Robert and Felix relaxed their faces. They now looked like they knew what they should do. "Maybe our boy Rory here wanted to make some quick buck and messed up," Felix said without stopping. "A drug deal gone bad or just some Silver Fang retaliation. You two better move it to HQ. I'll have my boys get you a squeaker and a barker to interrogate," Robert said. Afterwards, he started yelling orders at his men. Felix and Mickey went to their car. They could swear that some of the residents of the row hated them. They knew better than to look in their direction. Bloodbaths happened in such neighborhoods, from grave insults or just wrong looks. It didn't matter if someone was a gang member or an officer. The two got in the car, and Felix started driving, the tension going down as they got further away from the crime scene. "If all goes well, we might lock up some Silver Fangs," Felix said, his attention focused on the road ahead. "That'll do good to the city," Mickey said, just as cold as his colleague. Felix knew he didn't mean it. All their talks of making the city better were just empty platitudes trying to reignite the sparks of hope they had during the war. The city was getting better. Criminals were arrested faster, and many gangs stopped doing crimes. But the two detectives didn't feel at ease. It never felt right to them as it did during those nights in Europe. They were now in the city proper, clean streets, and people going by, minding their own business. The apartment buildings reached for the sky, filled with different colored lights. Cars honked left and right through the sound of old engines and wheels on the asphalt. Much like the residents of Amalgamation Row got used to the police siren, so too did Felix and Mickey get used to the chaos of the city, finding peace and solace in the storm instead of the chaotic silence of the suburbs.